Hey, brother! They say everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked, and that is true in more ways than one. I mean, obviously, it started a 100-year war for the Four Nations, but it also changed the history of animated television, with many still considering Avatar: The Last Airbender to be the best animated show ever made, and it's not hard to see why. Because when it came out, Avatar was unlike anything its viewing audience had ever seen. For one, it featured, and get this, continuity.
Previously on Avatar.
Which I know sounds basic, but most kids' animated shows at the time did not feature this outside of maybe like 2 or 3 episode runs. But Avatar had 3 cohesive season-long arcs, all building toward a promised series-long payoff where the Avatar would face off against the Fire Lord. A promise they make in the first 30 seconds of the show, and when it finally pays off, it is epic. Not only that, but you only really need to watch the intro to understand the bending system, which is just martial arts lets you control the 4 elements. The Avatar is the only one who can do all 4. He's the most powerful. That's it. But on top of that, the show was unafraid to tackle heavy, real-world themes, including sexism, ableism, genocide, child soldiers, PTSD, pacifism versus necessary force. I mean, the list goes on, and yet it never feels preachy, and it never stops feeling kid-friendly.
Check this out.
And none of that is even the true overarching theme. Because here's the secret. The show isn't actually about winning the war. It's about restoring balance. It's about choosing who you are when the world wants you to become something else and refusing to become your enemy. And also that just like epic bending fights are like cool, you know? Like that's a pretty big theme too, I think.
Flameo, Hotman!
Now, the original series ended back in 2008, but based on the fandom, you never know. People love this show, whether it's like quietly in their heart or loud and proud on their socials. There is something unique about the way this show affects people. So today I wanted to figure out why that is, and I wanted to get to the bottom of 10 moments that I think defined the series and truly cemented it in our hearts forever.
Hey, brother!
Katara versus Pakku. Let's start with Katara. She finally arrives at the Northern Water Tribe after a season-long journey to get there, only to be told they don't teach women waterbending.
In our tribe, it is forbidden for women to learn waterbending.
Katara has been waiting for this opportunity her whole life, and in one sentence, Master Pakku has shattered her dreams with sexism, of all things. Katara's face says it all, and the payoff is that much greater because it is not the first time the gang has dealt with this so far, even within their own ranks. In fact, the first conversation in the entire show features Sokka's sexist views towards his sister.
Leave it to a girl to screw things up.
And it's her resulting anger that frees Aang. Not to mention Sokka's fiasco with the Kyoshi warriors, where Suki immediately shows him up. And now this. Master Pakku. Aang, to his credit, initially refuses to be taught by him for this reason, but Katara insists it's more important. But then later, when Katara is lobbying for Pakku to take Aang back, he only agrees on the condition that Katara apologizes to him.
I'm waiting, little girl.
And this is Katara's breaking point. And it's important to realize what's on the line here, because if Aang doesn't master waterbending, he can't become a fully realized avatar and save the world. So Pakku's sexism is literally holding the entire world back from balance. Sure, Katara could just swallow her pride and just apologize, but a world where women are not treated equally is not a balanced world anyway. So she stands strong and challenges him to a fight.
I'm sure she didn't mean that.
Yeah, I think she did.
And no, she doesn't win the fight, but she certainly impresses him, and that, combined with the realization that his sexist ideals also cost him the love of his life, eventually breaks down those walls. And the moment stands out so much because the enemy isn't even the Fire Nation here, it's just general oppression, the kind that gets normalized and accepted until it's challenged, which is exactly what Katara does. Number 9, Katara offers to heal Zuko. Oh boy, the conversation that launched a million Zutara ships, am I right? More of a Katang man himself, but whatever, it's cool, you do you. After 2 seasons of bitter resentment and battles, Katara and Zuko find themselves trapped in the crystal caves together, and with nothing to do but talk, land on an important piece of common ground.
The Fire Nation took my mother away from me.
I'm sorry. That's something we have in common.
And this single moment of empathy is all it takes for Katara to bridge the gap and stop seeing Zuko as just the face of the Fire Nation, but a lost boy who is suffering some terrible PTSD. Zuko says he's been starting to realize his scar doesn't define his destiny or his past, and that even if it will always be there, he can look past it. Then, Katara offers her very precious spirit water to try and heal it. Zuko looks like he might accept the offer before the moment is interrupted, and ultimately they never try it, nor do we even know if it would have worked. But what an offer! I mean, it might be the first time in Zuko's whole life that someone besides his uncle and since his mother has shown him genuine compassion. And if you're Zuko, like, even Iroh's compassion could be interpreted as just like familial obligation, but Katara? I mean, he's almost cost her life a dozen times over, and now she's offering to heal his biggest insecurity? I mean, I see where the Zutara ships are coming from, don't get me wrong. To this point, Zuko had been considering a different path, and if they weren't interrupted, maybe he would have taken it. But instead, Azula crashes the party, and when push comes to shove, he falls back into his old pattern and takes her side, choosing what's familiar, what's safe, and what he's been trained to be. Ugh, and it hurts all the more knowing how close he was, and because we all know how realistic the choice he makes actually is. We all know the feeling of almost breaking a bad habit, of almost becoming better, and then slipping back into the version of ourselves we're trying to outgrow. Except, this time for Zuko, it is literally the fate of the world that is at stake. But hey, speaking of Azula crashing the party, let's talk about number 8. Azula kills Aang. Yeah, this is the moment that kids shows, or really any show for that matter, don't let happen. A moment that when I watch it even now gives me chills. At the beginning of season 2, Azula is introduced as a lightning bender. Terrifying, precise, unstoppable, and up until this point in the season, there's only one thing she hasn't successfully done, and that's actually strike somebody with lightning. But everything else, she has conquered. Omashu, the Kyoshi Warriors, the Dai Li, Ba Sing Se, something Iroh couldn't do in 600 days, and then to twist the knife, she captures Iroh too. Azula is extremely dangerous, and it feels like only one thing could possibly stop her. The Avatar state, a state Aang has lost access to, and despite trying to unlock it, failed because he can't let go of his love for Katara. But now the hero's moment is here, and to save her, he must let her go. He must put duty before attachment. Let go his earthly tether and... Wow. See, now, usually what happens at this point in the story is the good guy, like, confronts the thing that's holding him back, and he overcomes it, and that's enough to defeat the bad guy. But no, this time, it's not. Azula wins? Aang is dead? The Avatar cycle is over? Well, no, but almost. If not for a certain bit of spirit water, Katara almost wasted on Zuko instead. Oh boy, that would have been some irony. I mean, I guess, though, maybe if she'd helped Zuko, then he would have switched sides and Azula wouldn't have won. So, yeah, who knows? You know what? It's important water. But when you're watching, it feels like the show is like, what, pulling out the rug from the lesson it's actively trying to teach you, only to replace it with a different lesson, which is just that war is brutal? Oh, thanks, Nickelodeon. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's a lesson of the show, but upon closer inspection, it's not the only one happening in this moment, because you'll notice that by the end of the show, Aang is able to love Katara and go into the Avatar state. So what gives? What was actually holding him back? And the answer is fear. It's not love for Katara that holds him back, it's fear of losing her. That's what he needs to let go of. And it's really well done, because if Aang had defeated Azula, the lesson would have been that love isn't strong enough. Power is more important.
Perfection and power are overrated. I think you are very wise to choose happiness and love.
Aang is correct to not let go of Katara because Katara is the one who saves him. Love does not weaken him, it keeps him alive to fight another day, which is a lesson plenty of shows are willing to teach, just not usually at the cost of killing their main character. Number 7. Iroh remembers his son. Oh my gosh, you guys gonna make me talk about this? I mean, yeah. I guess there's no way around it. So, you know, like how you used to get up and watch cartoons and at the end of each episode you were bawling with tears because of how sad they were? No, you don't? Tales of Ba Sing Se is a really unique episode of Avatar where instead of advancing the plot forward, we are treated to little vignettes of each main character while they are trapped in Ba Sing Se. It serves as a reminder that even while at war, even trapped in the city, there are days when not a lot is happening. Heck, for most people in the city, this is just every day. It's not a super exciting episode, but it lets each character breathe and show us their human side, their vulnerable side, or I guess their haiku side.
I am so sorry. Something struck me in the rear. I just wound up here.
Each scene has a small emotional arc attached to it, except for Iroh's, which has an emotional gut punch the size of a platypus bear. To this point in the show, we've known Iroh lost his son and seen him work through the trauma by guiding Zuko down a more noble path. We've seen him encourage Toph and dole out sage wisdom to Aang.
So, Toph thinks you give pretty good advice. And great tea.
The key to both is proper aging.
We've seen him laugh, joke, and make tea. He feels grounded, unshakable even. But then, beneath a small tree atop a hill in Ba Sing Se, the city his son died trying to conquer, we see him break the facade and take a moment to mourn him. He sings, he cries, we cry, and then the text appears, and you realize it's not just Iroh mourning his son, but also the show itself mourning Mako Iwamatsu, the original voice actor of Iroh through season 2, and then out of nowhere you suddenly feel the full weight of the Fire Nation's attack, and it feels like for a moment you understand the true cost of war, and oh my god, is this how a show on Nickelodeon is supposed to make you feel?
That's rough, buddy.
Y'all, we gotta give a brief pause right there to give a huge thank you to today's sponsor, Shopify. So back in the year 2015, I was 5 years into my first job, 3 years into doing this channel, and months away from being married, and all I wanted to do was make videos just like this one. But while starting a family, the idea of taking on an unusual career felt risky. But I made the plunge, and as we grew, so did our projects, including a coffee company that would become our full-blown merch store, and we never could have done that without Shopify. Because before we started, our experience with web design or doing e-commerce was essentially zero. But Shopify is designed to make starting your company a breeze. Like having an Airbender as a friend, just like, oh, could you make a little? Or better yet, it's the opposite of trying to run a cabbage stand anywhere in the Four Nations. And the best part is that Shopify scales right there with you as you grow. I mean, more sales, no problem. Everything from useful reports, inventory tracking, product descriptions, marketing, and so much more is right at your fingertips. And when I look back on me from 2015, now I know I made the right choice. So it's time to turn those what ifs into with Shopify today. You can sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/SCB. Again, that is shopify.com/SCB. One last time, just for safety, shopify.com/SCB. Link in the description down below. Number 6, Katara spares Yon Rha. Geez, Katara is on this list a lot. Okay, so we already talked about how Katara and Zuko bonded over their lost mothers, and guess who comes with her to take down her mother's murderer? Zuko. And it's a really interesting episode because Katara often serves as the gang's moral compass, but this time it is personal, and it's Aang who has to step in and urge Katara to practice forgiveness.
Please don't choose revenge. Let your anger out, and then let it go. Forgive him.
And this is a huge theme for season 3, as Aang himself has been worried about the coming prospect of killing the Fire Lord. But in the episode, Katara and Zuko track down Yon Rha in almost no time and quickly have him on the ropes begging for mercy, which almost unbelievably Katara offers him. She definitely makes the decision in the moment, and by the end, she's questioning herself and wonders if she was too weak to do it or strong enough not to. And while her mind remains uncertain, it is definitely clear to the viewers and Aang that it was the latter. And even though she never actually forgives Yon Rha, she is able to finally forgive Zuko because he provided the opportunity to confront her mother's killer. And I think what we all walk away with is that often the right choice and the easy choice are rarely the same thing, and that forgiveness isn't about excusing evil, it's about not letting it define you. Number 5. Ty Lee stops Azula. All right, there might be no moment in the show that gives me more chills than watching this scene. It was just so shocking. We've already talked about Azula's terrifying effectiveness on the battlefield, and since she conquered Ba Sing Se, not much has changed. Even at the beach, where the other fire teens have revelations about all their past traumas, Azula fails to approach any meaningful reflection, perfectly content with her monstrous ways.
My own mother thought I was a monster. She was right, of course, but it still hurt.
Not only that, she effortlessly distracts Team Avatar during the Day of Black Sun and has all but stopped the prison break in progress when Mai turns on her and saves Zuko.
What are you doing?
Saving the jerk who dumped me.
And it is a tense moment, and it is the first time anyone has caused Azula even a moment's failure, and she is not taking it well, and she is prepared to blast Mai into oblivion. But suddenly we're confronted with the same question the show has been asking all season. Which is more powerful, fear or love? And Mai certainly has her answer.
You miscalculated. I love Zuko more than I fear you.
Oh, Azula, if only you'd shown Mai and Ty Lee real friendship instead of scaring them into being your friend, you might have avoided this. But Mai's courage inspires Ty Lee, and in a moment of decision, Ty Lee does the unthinkable, the unimaginable, and lands the first meaningful blow against Azula in the whole show and disables her bending at the same time. Of course, both Mai and Ty Lee are captured afterwards, and Azula still wins the day. I mean, sort of. I guess the prison break was a success. But the loss of these two causes more psychological devastation than those two punches ever really hurt her.
None of them could be trusted. Sooner or later, they all would have betrayed me. Just like Mai and Ty Lee did.
Because meaningless though she claims they are to her, Ty Lee and Mai were her anchors to sanity. Her proof to herself that she isn't the absolute worst person. But now, well, we'll get there. Number 4, Zuko apologizes to Iroh. Oh God, not Iroh again. How come every time he's on this list I start tearing up? Remember when Zuko sided with Azula and then Iroh got captured? Well, that landed Zuko exactly where he thought he wanted to be. Honor restored and back in the royal palace.
I am proud because when your loyalty was tested by your treacherous uncle, you did the right thing and captured the traitor.
Iroh, however, lands in prison. Very betrayed, very silent, very, getting swole. But his absence is felt by Zuko immediately, who regrets his actions in the cave and must now navigate his way forward without Iroh at his side and only his wisdom left to guide him.
But it's not at all how I thought it would be. The truth is, I need your advice.
And guide him it does, to not only confront his father and join Team Avatar, but also right back to the man himself, asleep on the ground. And it feels like a pivotal moment for the audience. Has Zuko done enough? Has he made enough good decisions for Iroh to forgive him? Will he accept the apology?
I am so sorry and ashamed of what I did. I don't know how I can ever make it up to you.
Wrong questions, though, because Avatar has again lured you into their trap.
And I have lured you into my trap. Pretending to be a fool 6 consecutive times.
Because from Iroh's point of view, there was never anything to forgive.
I was never angry with you. I was sad because I was afraid you lost your way.
Hey, there it is again. Fear versus love. But there's no anger. There's no scorekeeping from Iroh. No, you have to earn this. Because Iroh is not Ozai. He is not mad that Zuko disobeyed him. He's devastated by the thought that Zuko might not become the man he knows he can be. But it turns out he was right the whole time and embraces him. Love wins again, and as usual with Iroh, it hits like a freaking truck. Number 3, Zuko versus Azula. Okay, so a lot of these are like really important lessons, but this is just a freaking cool fight, right? Like everyone remembers Zuko versus Azula, right?
What are you doing here?
You mean it's not obvious yet? I am about to celebrate becoming an only child!
No, but it sticks with you because there's way more happening here than just impressive firebending. I mean, it's 2 siblings who have reached the end of their arcs and are at their peak power levels under Sozin's comet. Now, Zuko and Azula have never been on great terms, but the fact that they were related at least kept them from killing each other. Until now.
I'm sorry it has to end this way, brother.
No, you're not.
And while the battle is between them, it's really the culmination of each character's battle with themselves. And Azula has lost that battle. Ty Lee and May are gone. She has been given absolute power and has become totally unhinged. Her perfectionism has broken her because she has been nothing but perfect her whole life. She has gotten all she ever wanted, but still feels like she has to prove herself to her father and earn his love. But he just casts her aside, only ever concerned with his own power.
You can't treat me like this. You can't treat me like...
Zuko, on the other hand, has won the battle with himself. He has overcome his shame. He stopped chasing his father's approval, stopped defining himself by his lack of honor, whatever that meant to begin with, and he stopped trying to prove that he's worthy of love. Zuko is steady. Azula is spiraling, still trying to prove she is perfect, immediately afraid she will lose all that she has been given for even a moment of imperfection. Meaning that once again we see it. Azula battles out of fear, while Zuko battles out of compassion for everyone the Fire Nation has ever hurt, which in this moment is represented by Katara, whom Zuko jumps in front of to protect, which is an act that Season 1 Zuko would never have done. I mean, he opens the show by invading her village. But the real kicker is this, that despite Zuko's control and internal victory and Azula's descent into madness, he still almost dies. It's the same Avatar trap again. It feels like his emotional growth should have made him invincible. Winning the war in himself should mean he wins the battle in front of him, right? But it doesn't. Instead, Katara has to step in and finish the fight, leaving Azula chained and sobbing. And while you're glad they won, it hardly ends up feeling like the victory, because Zuko is so healed and you realize Azula is so broken. Number 2, Zuko confronts Ozai. But hey, speaking of breaking Zuko and Azula, who broke those kids to begin with, am I right?
Dad's going to kill you. Really, he is.
Yeah, Ozai is amongst the worst dads in television history and has not the least bit ashamed of it.
I am going to speak my mind, and you are going to listen.
But that's what makes Zuko confronting him so awesome. Zuko has spent the whole show trying to earn back his dad's approval and love. But even now that he has returned home, he hardly has it, if at all. Even though he allegedly did exactly what was asked of him, killing the Avatar.
Unless somehow the Avatar was actually alive.
But Zuko has had enough and does what the audience has been hoping for years and drops truth bomb after truth bomb on him.
I thought it was my honor that I wanted, but really, I was just trying to please you. You, my father, who banished me just for talking out of turn.
And he's even found a way to do this while Ozai is powerless because of the eclipse. So he can't just blast Zuko from the room.
Telling the truth during the middle of an eclipse. This should be interesting.
Instead, he has to resort to hurling insults at him, if you can call them that, saying he let Iroh get to him, which Zuko gladly admits to. And then, like poetry, when the firebending comes back, Ozai launches lightning at his son, only for Zuko to use Iroh's teachings to redirect it, and he is faced with a split-second decision. Kill his father or spare him?
Kill the spare!
But Zuko has learned the lesson.
I've learned everything, and I've had to learn it on my own.
His father wants him to be a ruthless killer. And if he kills his own father, then in a weird way, Ozai still wins. But rather than fall into this old pattern like he did at the end of season 2, this time he spares Ozai and chooses himself.
We've created an era of fear in the world. And if we don't want the world to destroy itself, we need to replace it with an era of peace.
And finally, number 1, Aang goes full Avatar against the Fire Lord. I mean, hey, if you thought the Azula-Zuko fight was cool, wow, did they save the best for last, because I love this fight. Aang has mastered all 4 elements, but Ozai has a lifetime of expertise and Sozin comets at his back. Which, like, I mean, I guess Aang does too, but he doesn't really seem too keen to take advantage of that. The thing about this fight, though, is that despite it being foretold in the first few minutes of the show, Aang hasn't even met Ozai to this point.
I am Melon Lord!
This is the first time they come face to face, which makes it way less personal and way more about how Aang is going to win his own internal struggle. The fight ends up not really being about who's more powerful, it's more about philosophy. Because Ozai isn't some rival that Aang's traded blows with for 3 seasons. He's an idea. He's the embodiment of the Fire Nation's hatred and their war machine. So the real battle is actually, how can Aang win without betraying himself? How can he win without becoming his enemy?
This goes against everything I learned from the monks. I can't just go around wiping out people I don't like.
It's the same battle that Katara and Zuko have both already faced with Yon Rha and Ozai respectively, and both of them had an out. Just don't kill them, no matter how hard it is. You know, take the high road. But Aang's stakes are higher. It's kill or be killed. It's the fate of the world, and everyone from his friends to his past lives are telling him the same thing. You have to make the hard choice and kill him.
I guess I don't have a choice, Momo. I have to kill the Fire Lord.
But it's the same paradox he had with Master Pakku back in season 1. If the Avatar has to abandon his principles to restore balance, then is it really balance? Aang says no, and miraculously finds another way to end the fight that neutralizes the threat and ends the war without having to kill anyone. And that message lands so hard because it reverberates with every other meaningful, defining moment the show has to offer, and it's why, to this day, people love it so much. Guys, thanks as always for watching today's video. Don't forget to leave a like on it if you haven't already, and subscribe so you don't miss any future Avatar action from us. If you want to see how Ty Lee is actually an air nomad, you can check out this video right here. But otherwise, don't forget, ducks are going cups.
It's a bunch of empty cups.
It's just an empty cup.
Yeah, what's a cup without a duck?